then we can then send that out to any parents wanting to view it and wanting to know what's going on. So the first thing that we might go through is the teams. So the EBT teams have been selected, which is fantastic. So they've been split into two different teams. So we've got the Buninyong Bomber and we've got the Buninyong Bullet. So that was thrown at us a little bit on the spot because there's an issue with the team names and there's been a few issues with the EBT system, but we've locked those two in, which we're pumped to provide for the kids. So that will be the list that we'll run with. There may be cases where some of the students might be unavailable at different parts of the weekend. So we might do a little bit of chopping and changing, but for the majority of the time, they'll be the two teams that will be set and that we'll be running with. The really cool thing about EBT is once we actually begin the event, each car will have a little GPS monitor put into it. And what that will do is that will track all the lap times and how many laps we've done in each of the different cars. So on the weekend event, we'll send out a link and you can actually log in on your phone and you can see where the Buninyong Bomber car is going, you know, where it sits out of all the cars competing, as well as the Buninyong Bullet as well. So it'll be a good chance, even if you can't make it down to the event, to still check in and see how our teams are progressing. So hopefully we're going okay, but we'll wait and see. Moving on, this will be the layout. So if you haven't been down to the EBT event, it's massive. It's a huge event with primary school competitions and secondary school competitions going on at the same time. So our main area that we're going to be setting up as a primary school will be down the bottom here at the track number 2, as well as Princess Park. Now, the Energy Breakthrough team haven't actually delivered us a camping spot yet, but that should be coming at the start of next week, which will either be, in the past, it's been on Princess Park, and there's a potential chance that it could be in that track 2 camping area in the middle of the track. So they're the two options that we'll be camping from. But once we find that out and they let us know, we'll let you guys know as well. So if you are walking around the event and you want to pop in and say hello, you'll know exactly where to find us. Couple of things to notice about this map as well. Track 2, as I said, is going to be the primary school one. So that is where the race will be taking part. When you're spectating, you can walk anywhere you want around that outside of the track. So we'll set up a little bit of a marquee or a little bit of a Buninyong area, hopefully directly opposite our pit, providing we can get there early enough. And that way you can watch from the outside of the track. You can watch the kids have their turn. But yeah, feel free to wander around and take some photos from some of the corners. I know in the past that corner number 2 there, you can see the tight little corner. There's normally a fair bit of action happening around that corner, which is normally pretty fun to go and watch. So, yeah, feel free to wander around, take a camera, take some photos. It's a great event to kind of see. The next one is track 1, and that is where the secondary race will happen. And that's a 24-hour race. So that's going to be running non-stop overnight. So after our first night, and quite often on the Friday night, we'll take a bit of a group of kids and we'll actually go and watch them do their night race, which is a cool experience for the kids to see. It's something different and something interesting. So that's essentially, the track setup and where our camping positions will be. You can see the toilets and the showers will be down here, and I'll go through a little bit more details about that. There's also some toilets and showers across here that we'll use where we're camping. When we're at the pit lane, the kids will essentially have to remain inside this pit area with our supervision. So we'll work with them and we'll give them the details as well in terms of where we can go and where we can't go. And that's always a good thing that we do at the start when we arrive on the Thursday, to give them a bit of a walkthrough of the area. So we'll make sure that we do that. But there's toilets. Quite often they'll set up some food in the middle of this area as well. So if you did want to allow your child to bring some extra coin, more often than not, parents will come down and you might be able to catch up with them at some point. But yeah, there will be some food options available. If there's any questions about the map, this is also going to be going on a parent handbook that we'll print off and send home with the kids tomorrow. So, if you've got any questions that pop up about the map or where things are, or when you get down to the event, you get a little bit lost, let us know and we'll be able to help you out and get it sorted. So that's the map. This is the setup for one of the teams. So this is for the Buninyong Bomber team, but it will remain pretty consistent. There might just be a few changes depending on what team your child's in. essentially how it's going to work is on the Wednesday, the kids don't need to be involved. Myself and Bernie, we're going to be heading down to set up the marquees, the tents for the kids, the camping equipment, so it's all ready to go. So on the Thursday, and we'll go through this in a second, the kids will arrive at normal school time. If they can get here maybe a little bit early, it might help just to load up the lilos or the sleeping bags, the pillows, the camping equipment that they'll need. But yeah, we should be right to arrive at 9 o'clock to hopefully leave from Buninyong Primary School at 9:30. So for the Buninyong Bomber, the first two things that we've got running on the first day is something called the scrutineering, design and construction phase, and then the display and presentation. So to give you a bit of an insight without going into way too much detail, the scrutineering, design and construction is essentially we will bring the bikes to someone who's going to judge the bike. They'll then ask questions to the kids about the design of the bike, the safety measures that we've put on the bike, some of the safety rules in terms of when they're on the track riding around, and essentially how the bike was constructed. So we've worked with the kids and they know these details, so it'll just be about them kind of running it through with the judge and letting them know as much as they possibly can. The display and presentation phase, that's something a little bit different. That's done without the bike. That's just a chance for the kids to jump up the front and have a bit of a go at saying and talking about all the elements that are involved with the event. So the nutrition that we need to worry about, the safety rules, the training we've done, the bike instruction. So once again, Jake and Georgina have done a power of work with the kids to give them a bit of a heads up of what they need to do at that stage. So that will be happening up until about 6 o'clock. So you can see the Buninyong Bomber, they're locked in at 12:40 for the scrutineering, and then they're locked in at 4 o'clock from the display and presentation. In between that time, that's when we'll go for a bit of a walkthrough of the camping grounds, set ourselves up, also go and check out some of the other schools' presentations and some of the other bikes, and yeah, keep nice and busy during that time, but also relax as well because we've got a fair bit of riding that night. At 6:30, that's when the practice session will start and the kids jump in the bikes for the first time and they have a bit of a go on the track. So that will run all the way up until about 8:30 at night. And then from there, it will be back to the camping grounds, have some dinner, and then there's a movie possibly that we go and watch. Sometimes, depending on how tired the kids are, it's not a great option, but that will be something depending on how busy it will be as well. So we'll work with the kids if we head across to the movie. Otherwise, we'll have some quiet little games down at the campsite and keep ourselves busy there. Then on the Friday, moving on to the next day, we will start off by heading, jumping up, getting some breakfast, doing a bit of warm up, getting the bikes over to the pit lane, preparing some stuff at the pit lane that the kids might need, like the spare tyres, a bit of food. We'll bring some drinks over there and put them in the cool room that we've got stored behind the pit lane. And then we'll actually start racing at about 11:30 on that Friday. So that's when we'll get into our starting positions, which are dictated from the practice session the night before, and then we start the race. We essentially race from 12 o'clock all the way to 9 o'clock. So it's a massive, I guess, endurance battle, and that's why we've selected quite a few students. So we can get the kids in the bike bits at a time to make sure we're not putting them, into too much work and getting them worn out before the event's actually started. So we'll work with the kids on that one, making sure that they've had plenty to eat, making sure they're hydrated, and giving them plenty of shade and chill out time as well. So that will also give the kids a bit of a chance to go for a bit of a walk around the event, to see the corners, to see some what they call crash corner, which is number 2 that the kids often like going and watching. But yeah, we'll work with the kids during that 12 to 9 phase, to keep on track of how our teams are going. And it might even be things like keeping track of the laps and kids holding out signs of telling them when to pit, when to come in, if they need to go a little bit faster, how many laps they've got left before they need to pit. So, yeah, there's lots of jobs the kids are going to be kept busy with during that time. So then from the Friday night, we'll jump back into the campgrounds, start settling the kids and hopefully having a nice sleep, because then we're up again for the restart at 6 o'clock in the morning on the Saturday. which is, always a bit of a battle for the kids at times to get up, to be ready at 6 o'clock. So often in the past, what we'll do is the night before, we'll pick out a couple of riders that we know are going to start the race. So what we'll do with those riders is we'll then word them up to let them know we're going to wake them up the earliest, and it's probably around that 5:20, 5 o'clock. Get some breakfast into them, get some food, and then work with them to start on the track at 6 o'clock. And then from there, we'll work on getting the rest of the guys up and ready, getting them some breakfast, brushing their teeth, and then moving across to the race as well. So we'll work and we'll let you guys know what riders are going to start where, just in case. And if you're super keen to come down to Maryborough at 6 o'clock, you'll be able to watch your student start off the race, which is always a cool spectacle. And that will run all the way till 11 o'clock on Saturday. And then from there, it's essentially some pack-up time, and it's some award presentation ceremony. That starts at 12. And if we're a part of that, we'll probably stay and watch that whole thing. If we're not, we might start slowly packing the kids up and getting them ready to head back to Buninyong. So, in a nutshell, that's how the event will run. Once again, we'll put this information on a parent handbook as well and give it to you guys so you can follow along on the day to find out what's happening and when. So that's the Buninyong Bomber. This is the Buninyong Bullet. The only changes to this one would be is that their display and presentation isn't until 2 o'clock and their scrutineering's at 4:20. So the times are different. Apart from that, it's exactly the same. So that's the two differences between the teams. Moving on. So the costs involved, obviously, you guys, and thank you for being so prompt with your payments. There's a cost of $120 per student. So $50 for the majority of families have already been paid through the deposit. So that would leave the $70. There was some families who hadn't paid the deposit at that stage. So they would be getting charged the full $120. But that's on Compass. So if there's any issues with that, let me know. But that's essentially how it was working. So essentially that cost is going to cover the complete lot of catering that we're doing. So all the food, all the drink, all the snacks that we're providing for the students, the transport to and from Maryborough, as well as, the 2-night stay. So the camping ground costs, as well as the team shirts that you can see that all students will kind of get, which have come up an absolute treat. So I know the kids have been asking to see them. So we've finally got them in this morning, which would be great to show them off. And we're hoping to do a bit of a presentation with the kids as well to build that excitement with their team shirts, which should be something to look forward to. And we'll let you know when we're going to do that, when we've worked out a plan for that. In terms of supervision, so as we said, the students will remain together as a group with the staff the entire time. So at times at night when we get back to the campgrounds, the kids will head across and have their showers. How it's worked in the past, and it's worked really well, is the staff members will go across with the students that are having their shower. We normally split them off in 2 groups. So 2 groups of the boys, 2 groups of the girls, and we'll just rotate a teacher at the showers to supervise. So other students from other schools will use that, as well as other members that are camping at the campgrounds. So we'll just make sure that we've got staff members there present the whole time. The toileting area, we'll make sure students go out in pairs, similar to like they do at school, and making sure that we're always remaining as a bit of a group. So as we said, that we're going to have some opportunities where we'll go for some walks around the campgrounds, but that's where we'll just stick with our groups, stick with the teacher, and make sure that we all stay together as we walk around. So it's definitely not going to be a free-for-all in terms of see you later, kids, we'll see you on Saturday. It's going to be quite measured and quite controlled, but we'll also make sure it's really clear the kids know where to go. If worst case scenario, they do get lost at one stage, and we'll give them some little wristbands that will have our number on them as well that they can keep on their wrist. So that's the measures that we're putting in place with supervision. As I discussed before, transport. So our departure time is to be at 9:30 on the Thursday from school. So we're hoping if students can get here by 8:50, we can get all their things packed up, get it on the bus, put them on the trailer, tie them down to then head across to Maryborough, which would be great. So it's about an hour to get there. There is the chance that if you're going down on that Thursday, that you can take your child down to the event. if you can just let Georgina or Jake know as soon as possible if that is the case, it's just going to make our planning for who's on the bus, who's not on the bus a lot clearer. But there is an opportunity to do that. So the other thing is we're expected to get back to the school maybe about 2 o'clock on the Saturday, but that's going to depend on the scheduling of the event, because I know in the past it's gone over time and then everything's been pushed back. So we're just going to have to keep you guys informed as quickly as possible on Compass to let you know what time we're going to be due to come back to Ballarat, to Buninyong. If you're down at the event in Maryborough and you're wanting to take your child directly home from there, that's fine. We've got no issues with that whatsoever. We'll just have to make sure that there's a really clear process that you come and see one of us so we can mark it off and we can get a signature just to let us know that you have collected your child and they've been taken back from the event. So, yeah, if there's any issues around any of that, or you're keen to take your child down to the event, if you just get in touch as soon as possible, it's just going to make, logistically working out which kids we're going to be taking on the bus and which kids are going with parents a lot easier for the day. So, that's our transport. So for the catering, and this is on that information sheet, but this will also be on the parent handbook as well. So students will need to bring, just like a normal school day, some snack and a packed lunch for that first day, which is the Thursday. So it's always handy maybe to pack a few little extra nibbles throughout the day, because it is a long, tiring day, and we're going to have some snacks and things to provide the kids, but the more the better, essentially. So apart from the Thursday, all other food and drinks for the weekend are going to be provided. I've organised a cool room to be shared between our school and 2 other schools, which is going to sit right in the middle of our pit lane, which is going to be great to store some food to keep it nice and cool, as well as to store some drinks as well. So when the kids get out of the bikes, they're going to be huffing and puffing to get a cool drink and to have a relax. So that's going to be a really good resource that we'll use throughout the weekend. So this is the menu. Now, if there's any issues with the menu, please let us know. I did send out a message about dietary requirements, but I'm a little bit nervous about how Compass has kind of gone. So if you haven't got that and there are some dietary requirements that we need to know, please send them through and we'll be able to sort them out from there. So as we said, the Thursday, breakfast, lunch, if you guys can please pack it for your own child, that's going to be amazing. We've got some pizzas coming on the Thursday night at 8:30 once the kids are finished. And hence why some extra nibbles will be handy, because it is a late dinner. Because the kids are going to be riding the bikes essentially up until that time. So they're the pizzas that we've ordered. We've got some snacks. We've got some fruit and vegetables that we've got ordered from Wilson's that are going to be coming along, as well as just some biscuits, some little bars, anything to give the kids that little bit of extra boost of energy is going to be, really important. For the Friday morning, we're going to have a bit of a mixture of things. So we're going to have some bacon and eggs being cooked. We're going to have some cereal available. We'll have some juice there. We'll have some toast there for the kids as well to make sure they're fed on that Friday morning, ready for the start of the race, which is going to be important. So once a race day event occurs, we'll just then have that fruit constantly being on rotation through the pit lane. We've got some salad, ham, chicken wraps that we're going to prepare for the Friday lunch. And then at dinner, we've got a bit of a barbie that we'll cook up, which will have some sausages, some hamburgers, some veggie burgers, as well as some coleslaw, some potato salad, and some bread rolls and some bread for the sausages and whatnot. So, and some chicken sticks as well. So, yeah, we'll have plenty of food for the event, which will be great. We'll also have a little dessert as we get down there, which will be more than likely some ice cream in a cone, but if there's any dietary requirements, let us know and we can sort out something else. So that's an easy one that we can sort out. On the Saturday morning, as I said, it's going to be a bit of a bit of a start where some kids will be going to the pit lane and then others will kind of be following along. So we'll have some cereal already, some bacon and eggs we'll have going as well, some toast with some jam, some fruit available. So we're going to have plenty for the Saturday morning to keep with lots of energy. And then for lunch that day, we've got some Subway platters that have been ordered that will be picked up and then taken over to the pit lane for the kids to enjoy. So that will essentially get us through to home time, along with the fruit bars and some snacks throughout the day as well. So, that's the menu that we're running with, which we think is going to be plenty for the kids to keep their energy nice and high. But, please let us know if there's any issues with that and we can, figure things out from there. Camping. So as we discussed, camping's at Princess Park Oval in the tents. So the school, we've bought some brand new tents that we've got set up. So we'll set them up on the Wednesday night before the kids get there. That's a photo in the past. So that's that middle camping ground area. So we may be in there, but the other areas over up the back of that, which is where the oval is situated. We have sent through a list on the information booklet. It is also on the parent information booklet, but we'll quickly go through it just here. So it's pretty straightforward. It is a bit of stuff just with the pillow, the sleeping bag, and a small lilo or mattress, something for them to lay on in the tent is going to be important. We've got on here black shorts. I'm thinking just school shorts is going to be the easiest thing to do. And the 2 spare shirts, I think we will all have our team shirts, but I think if they just bring 2 bunny-on polos, that's going to be really important. And I probably should have put it on there just as 2 school shirts, just so the kids can keep in their school uniform. So if we are walking around and they need to put these on a bit of a break, then we can kind of see the bunny-on students really clearly. So that will be important to have some school shirts available. If they'd like to bring a spare shirt, just as a bit of a casual shirt around nighttime, go for it. That's fine when we're sitting around the camping area and chilling out. If they want to chuck on a different shirt that they feel nice and comfortable in, that's not a school shirt, that's all right. It's more so during the day when we're moving around, that's going to be really important. Yeah, so lots of stuff there, but as I said, all of this is going to go on, the parent information pack, as well as that email that I sent out on, it should be attached on Compass in the information letter. It is on there, but if there's any information and you think we've missed something, please let us know and we'll make sure we get a Compass message out there to get everyone up to speed. Here are the team shirts. So they've come up an absolute treat, so I'm stoked with them. The people who are working on them were really great to work with, and the kids were really involved in the design. So this is one of the students' designs. So Georgina, do you remember whose design it was?
It was Tom Goodson's.
There we go. Fantastic. Great work, Tom. So, we've had to play around with a little bit to make it a bit more T-shirt friendly, but it's come up really well. So on the back as well, I don't know. There we go. Thanks, Georgina. We've got our sponsors that have helped us support this event, which is fantastic. So they're on show as well. So it's a really great source of pride for the kids. And what we've decided, and I've worked with Bernie on this, that we're going to allow the kids to wear them on Fridays to school, which will be fantastic. So, we'll have that school pride, and hopefully it brings a smile on their face, being able to walk around their EBT shirts on a Friday. So, it'll be a great sense of kind of camaraderie in a way for us all to kind of wear our EBT shirts. And I know I'm looking forward to wearing mine on a Friday as well. So, it will be good. Parent helpers. So, we have sorted our parent helpers out from here. In the past, it's been really hectic through events with lots of parents around the pit lane. So essentially, EBT have come out and said that if schools can push the message of if parents are there to spectate and to see their child, if they stay on the other side of the pit lane, it just reduces the congestion that happens during that time. On the race day, it's quite hectic. There's kids sitting around. We're keeping track of laps, and we've got kids pitting, and we're changing things, and we're doing repairs to the bikes. And it can be a really busy area. So that's why they've essentially come out and said, if parents that are spectating, if they mind just jumping on the other side of the road and they can spectate from there, that's fine. And then at times we can send the kids around the outside and they can hang out with you and let you know about how they've gone. But if we keep that pit lane to essentially the school staff and any parents that are staying with us, that's going to be, really important. There is a chance that we might need someone to volunteer for some marshalling on a corner, but we will put that out if it gets to that stage. At this stage, it looks like we're okay, but we'll let you guys know if there's a case that we might be missing 1 or 2 people to jump on and do some marshalling at a corner. So essentially the marshalling, if you're a bit confused of what I'm talking about there, it will be you jump on a corner of a track and you're in charge of if there's a car that, if there's a bike that hits another bike and it might flip over, so it just tips on its side. Essentially the marshals will run along, they'll wave a flag to say kids slow down, and then they'll flip the bike back over, put a sticker over the top to say they have to go to pit lane. So then the kids who are flipped, they need to ride back round, go into the pit lane to then give the bike a check over, but more importantly, just give the kids a check over to make sure they're okay, and then get them out and then replace them with a new rider. So that will be how the marshalling will run, and that's the safety, the safety measures that are in place as well. Team managers, so Jake and Georgina are the team managers for the two teams. So essentially they're going to be down in the pit lane nearly the entire time. As I said, it's a really hectic environment, and there's a lot of organised chaos essentially happening at the time, with kids coming into the pit lane, keeping track of times, doing repairs to the bike. So we'll try our best. And I know in the past that we've had parents are very invested and they want to make sure that the kids are in the bike for a certain period of time. We'll be monitoring that as we go on throughout the event. It is very hectic though, so there might be some troubles with the bike at times where we have to actually make the kids have a break and we have to fix the bike. So all we're saying is essentially, if you could please just be patient with us during the event. And the main point of the event is that the kids get there and they have fun. So that's going to be our massive aim. So hopefully it doesn't happen and there's no long breaks or there's no problems with the bike, but just in case, it has happened in the past. But we'll wait and see, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The last couple of things is medical information for any medicine that's going to be needed to be administered during the weekend. So on our parent information booklet that we're sending home, this is going to be the last page, and we'll actually send this separately for you to fill out. So if there's any medication that needs to be given to your child during this event, please fill out this form in the parent information booklet and bring it back to Georgina or Jake so we can log it, and then we can organise for that medication when you bring it on that Thursday, that it's in a Ziploc bag, we've put it in a secure place, and then it's really clear what we have to give to who and when. So that will be going out tomorrow. If you can please make sure that's signed. If there is medication that needs to be administered, that would be fantastic. It's just going to make our job a lot easier on the day. Apart from that, that is essentially it. So I know there's a lot of information to take in. I'm sorry if I've spoken really quickly and we've missed bits and pieces, but that is essentially the event in a nutshell. So if there's any questions out there, feel free to unmute and ask away, and we'll do our best to answer any questions that you might have. I've just seen that one, Jane. Yep, so parent helpers have been notified. So it looks like we've got enough covered for the event for the weekend, which is great. But we'll continue to monitor, and if there are extra helpers, we'll put a bit of a message out and see if we can grab someone. So so far so good, but we'll keep in touch if there is an opportunity for someone else to stay down and camp with us.
Okay. Thanks, Jared. It just might have been nice to notify parents, because when we went to that first info session, they basically said that we had to have a helper for every child. So we were expecting, husband's got time off work and everything, and we haven't been notified. Okay.
All right. I apologise for the inconvenience caused there, a bit of miscommunication. And if there's a case that you're down there for the whole weekend, we can look to see if there might be a few things we can get involved in, because that marshalling could be one potential thing. But apologies for the miscommunication there, where you've had to take work off and then haven't been notified since. So apologies for that, Jane.
Okay, and just one other question around the tents. Are they large tents? Are all the kids sleeping together? What's the arrangement?
Yep, no worries. So we've got 7 2-man tents, and then we've got another 5 3-man tents that we've got organised. So it's going to be part of our job before the event with Jake and Georgina to sit down to work with the kids to work out those tent groups.
Okay, no worries.
Yep, perfect. And in the past, what we've done is essentially it's quite a large area they give us on the oval, if that's where they put us. In the past, we've done the boys up one end, and then it's literally 10 metres 15 meters on the other side. Then we put the girls down that end, and then the teachers will just filter in between, which is how we've done it in the past. It's worked really well.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Yep. Thanks, Michael. So information packs will be going home tomorrow. So we'll print them out. All that information that we've gone through for this event. And what I'll actually do is I'll share this presentation as well via Compass. So it'll be on there. So you can refer back to it at any time, as well as the parent information pack. And as questions pop up, because it is a big event, and there might be lots of questions before the event starts, let us know and we'll be able to answer them as quickly as possible. Perfect. All right. If there's any other questions, feel free to stay online and we can have a chat about them. If not, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Hopefully it has filled you in with a little bit more information about the event. We're really pumped. Yeah, we're really excited to be involved with it. And I know the kids are as well. So it's a crazy busy event, but it's so worthwhile and the kids really enjoy it. So I've just seen, Nikki, your message about the licenses. So essentially how the license will work is EBT will send out a format for us just with a template with each of the license. We just log their name in, type it in, and then we print it out for the event itself. So they will get it essentially on that Thursday. Hopefully that answered the question. All good. All right, then. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And as we said, any questions, feel free to shoot them through to Georgina, myself, or Jake, and we'll go from there. And then, looking forward to getting started on the 17th. Thanks, team.